to lead from behind and to put others in front, especially when you celebrate victory, when nice things occur. You take the front line when there is a danger. Then people will appreciate your leadership. I unquote. In this pandemic situation, we need to lead from front. To guide us in this road, we have Ms. Sushma Shetty from Obama Foundation, Atlanta, United States of America. I would like to introduce Ms. Sushma. She is an investor, a human resource professional, a motivational speaker, and a philanthropist. She owns a venture registered in the United States of America, investing across India and USA. She is a part of Obama Foundation, which helps to reach students, young adults, people of race and color in understanding and identifying other abilities and empower them to reach their potential. She has a degree in postgraduate diploma in human resource and management. She is a certified leadership and communication trainer from Cornell University. During this pandemic, During this pandemic situation, she is reaching out to an audience to help motivate and empower every mind. We are very fortunate to have Sushma today with us. On behalf of Internal Quality Assurance Cell of the Oxford College of Science, I welcome you, Sushma. I welcome all the participants for this webinar. Over to you, Sushma.
Good morning, everyone. Thank you for that wonderful introduction, ma'am. Beauty is inborn, creativity inculcated, dignity inspired, but attitude is updated. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me immense pleasure and an honor to be addressing this group of highly dedicated, distinguished, and extremely empowering group of educators. Thank you so much for joining me this afternoon. Dr. Abdul Kalam once said that of all the opportunities that he has had as a professional, which is that one opportunity that he extremely keeps it close to his heart. And he said that being an author or aeronautical engineer or a president of one of the world's biggest democracies, India, or a professor. And he very humbly said that it was being a teacher. And when asked why is it that you choose, of all these distinguished professions, you chose a teacher? He says, it gives me that opportunity to get into the minds of young people. It gives me that opportunity to help those young minds build a dream. It gives me an opportunity to build a life, and therefore it builds a country. Thank you so much for each of you for choosing that profession that is extremely gratifying and absolutely satisfying. Each of you are highly valued and appreciated. Thank you once again from the bottom of my heart. This morning, I'm going to be talking to you about a topic which is extremely close to my heart, a topic which is right now affecting our family right in the front, because I'm married to a doctor who is a pulmonologist, leading pulmonologist in one of the biggest group of pulmonary groups in Southeast United States of America. But before I got into that, I think it is very important for you to know about a little bit about my story. And why I think it's important for me to tell you my story and my journey is because I think once we start opening up ourselves, especially in the times like this, it is important for us to bring down those barriers, see where we connect. How is it that our story is going to help implicate and implement and help you understand the situations that we are facing right now as a whole world, as a universe? I started off my journey as a young girl in school. I was not very vocal or very outgoing as a student. I would fear to talk. I'm sure a lot of us have gone through that. But when I was growing up, when I was asked questions, Am I being heard, ma'am?
Yes.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So in that fear of being misunderstood, I was worried that there was this opportunity that I had in me, but I was not able to capitalize. Along into my profession, along into my studentship, and along into my studies, I understood that it's important to start talking, to be communicative. When I started off my journey in BBM, I studied in Jyotinivas College. I came across this very young lady who came from Mangalore. Being from a small city, then it was a small city, now it's very big. Being from a small city, the way she spoke, the way she conducted herself, the way she projected herself, I was impressed and I thought, my God, she spoke so well. I think I should be at least be able to go up there and talk. I chose BBM as my field of choice, and it was very important there to be able to do product launches, be an HR. I had to know a lot of CAPs. And this girl happened to become my friend later on in life. And she said one day, Sushma, you have such great command over your language. Why is it that you're not coming up there and talking? And then we signed up for a competition. It was a product launch. I still remember I was 19. It was United Mission College, my first product launch. I went there. I had a 3-minute presentation. I held the mic and my hands were shaking, but my voice was not. I gave that presentation, I won the first prize, and that was the breaking point. From there on, there was never one day of looking back. I went on to be the student representative of Jyotinivas College. I was the vice president. I went on to be the placement head of my MBA university. I was a representative of the students. I was the voice of the students. From a girl who didn't want to talk in front of the class, I went on to become a student who everyone would come up to and said, this is the person I want to be. This is how I want to present. This is the way I want to stand in front of the crowd and be an impressive speaker. And that was when I thought this is where I had achieved. But life changed. In my mid-20s, I got married. I got married into a family which appreciated hard work, but it was also important to appreciate and stand with my husband. When I got married, my husband was venturing into medical school, started off with his fellowship in the United States. I moved to the United States with a huge cultural gap, cultural difference with profession and with the type of people that I was surrounded with. It's you do not understand the importance of leaving a place and getting out to a new place unless you go there and do it yourself. That was when I realized that having a perspective and being respected for a perspective that you have has so much importance in making you a personality or a person that you want to be. I moved to the United States. I had a profession which was thriving. I was working with Accenture. I was working with Bosch as a human resource strategist manager. I left all that, came here, and I told to myself, yes, I'm going to give a few years of my life to help my husband reach where he wanted to be. A very ambitious doctor, went on to do 3 fellowships in one of the prestigious universities in the world at the Yale. He's a pulmonologist. Today, he's a respiratory care medical director to one of the leading pulmonary groups in Southeast America. And I'm very proud of what he does. And I'm very proud as we as a family in this pandemic are fighting for a cause which a lot of people are struggling, striving to reach and make their ends meet. We as a family are standing together and trying to reach there. I don't know if any part of this story is going to resonate with you. It could be your story. It could be a story of your sister, your mother, your daughter, or your colleague. But somewhere at some point, if this story resonates with you, then I think we can go ahead and talk about the topic that we're going to be talking about today. Because every story that we say today, every story and every barrier that we bring down is going to help us reach to a little bit further. This topic today, as I said, is about being a role model and a model that is going to inspire and motivate people around us. I'm trying to share a screen with you all, so just give me a minute, please. Yes. So as we go on to this topic, and we know that educators and education is not about what we learn. It's not about the facts that we learn, but it's about the ability to start thinking. We as educators are going to help these young minds to start thinking in a way that they have not thought of before. If this is something that they could have learned at home, if this was something that they could have learned from peers, then education was not necessary. Abilities and help us get creative. The way we want to adapt what we have learned and apply into the world is what is important right now. We think of teachers as heroes, and heroes because as a child grows, as we learn, we are learning from the day we are born, as Mr. Jiddu Krishnamurti once mentioned. We start learning from the birth, and we are learning until we die. And whatever we are learned and we have learned is just a small point in the universe. There is so much to learn every day from every person we meet. And these people are coming up to us and trying to learn something. What is it that we as teachers going to offer to them? And teaching being a very powerful responsibility involving consideration, kindness, and inspiration. As more and more that we talk and the more we understand the importance of teaching and imparting knowledge, which is going to be acquired, it is so important to understand that these minds are trying to absorb things. We are not going to be critically analyzing these students, but remember that it is important for us to be giving constructive criticism, as important it is for us to break down those barriers, let those children or let those young minds understand the importance of getting to know you, of getting to know themselves, of being able to apply that. And remember, teaching is a state of mind and embracing those positive attitudes. This is the time that we need to stand up, pick up ourselves, and keep striving and keep moving forward. Very interesting facts. As I was doing this, it was so interesting because I give talks to young children. I speak to young adults, and I think it is important for me to understand and tell them how important it is to reach out to those opportunities. Social media has taken over so much of our lives that we fail to understand that there are people who do not have access to internet. It is a staggering number that is 40% of the world do not have access to internet. When you say digital learning, how much of it is possible for us to bridge that gap and to reach out to those people? So these interesting facts that I came across have been by studies done by Harvard, Yale, and Stanford. And it says third year in a row, 63% of the teachers of children, of young adults or children, thought that between 1 and 5 teachers help them influence and shape their lives. When I say 63%, do we understand the gravity of that number? 6 to 7 students out of every 10 students in your class is getting influenced. Everything that you take, everything that you talk, everything that you present is being absorbed, and they are watching you. Then there are 16 to 23-year-olds who feel that at least 50% of them thought that they have been influenced by teachers at some point. And when I say 16 to 23-year-olds, why is this number important? It's because as we grow, at every phase of our life, we are growing. And this is the most vulnerable phase, I feel, is when we are trying to understand what is it that interests us. What is it that we want to do? When I was growing up, I wasn't sure what I wanted to do. Initially, I thought I wanted to become a doctor, and that's what my father wanted to be. When that did not happen, I ended up marrying one. Well, so at 16, at 17, I thought, yes, I'm going to become a doctor. At 18, 19, I thought maybe I can do well being a business administrator. And then when I'm in my 30s right now, and I think that this is when I think I want to be much more than an investor. I want to be much more than a human resource officer or a manager. I want to be somebody who can give. I want to be somebody who can reach a life and help them in a positive way. That is how I want to make an impact. 82% of them feel that teachers have made an impact in their life at some point. And when I say 82%, it is a huge number. I'm sure all of you understand that if you are making that impact in someone's life, if you are making that impact in someone's thinking, in molding their dream, you are building hope. You are giving hope. And if you are down, it is very difficult to give and pass on that hope to young minds and young people. And it's very important to be doing that. As I say how important it is to be a teacher, as I say how important it is to reach out to people, there are a few essential abilities, I think, from what I understand in being a teacher. I go into schools here, primary, elementary schools. I talk to young adults. I talk to young students, and I teach them how effective it is to communicate rightly. If you remember any person that you can think of, any person you remember, the great leaders, politicians, actors, media, heroes that we speak about, these are people who actually are great with communication. They are able to put their thoughts in words. That is how important it is for a teacher to be able to have effective communication. When you are able to stand out there and communicate exactly what you want to say, like I said, it is not possible to learn everything, but whatever you have learned, to impart that in the right way is the most crucial part of an effective communication and being a great teacher. Yes, communication is important, but what are you communicating? Are you communicating an information that is usable, that is something that is adaptable? Our education system has a lot of benefits, but there are a lot of drawbacks and a broken bridge which we need to build. Our system is about how are we studying, how are we replicating what we have studied, how we are reproducing what we have studied onto the papers. The assessment is being done that way. But how is it that we are adapting or implementing that into our lives? How is it that we can inculcate that into our life? Is there adaptation? Are we learning how to do it? Are we learning how to put what we have learned into the process of understanding and application? And that information that you're giving to your students, how informative is it, is very important. As I said, communication and information is equally important as being reflective. Today, when I talk in different classes, in different forums, different platforms, I go back, I sit back and think, how was my presentation today? Was I able to reach out to that audience? Was I able to portray and communicate and reach to that destination that I thought I would reach? Was I able to put across my thoughts into words? I sit back and think, what is it that I can improve? Because each of us every day can improve a little bit and reach out in a better way the next time that we do it. Being confident is equally important. Yes, you're reflective. Yes, you have the information. Yes, you can communicate. But are you confident to stand in front of that audience? 100, 500, 1,000. Today, we are reaching out to people through the digital platform, to virtual learning. But one day we are going to stand out there, face an audience. Are you confident of doing that? A lot of teachers, when they go back to not being a teacher or not being a student and being a teacher, they're very bad learners. And most teachers are very good critics. But remember that whatever you do, you have to be confident when you reach out there, when you stand out there and face an audience. And it's very important to be able to give and produce the right kind of results that we're looking for. And how is it that we're going to reach out to it? As I said, I specialize in communications. I reach out to students, I reach out to teachers, young adults, and tell them how important it is to communicate the varied facets of communications. What are the different ways we can reach out to people? And these are the few things that I have come up. And in my teachings, I have understood that it is important that as important as it is to verbally communicate, there is listening. As much as you want to understand that, yes, people are listening to me, it is equally important to be heard. Those people, your audience, want to be heard. They want to be reciprocative. You have to understand that listening is a very important part of communication. Unfortunately, right now, I will not be able to give live sessions to a lot of my students, to a lot of my teachers, to a lot of my audiences, because that is the essence of communications. When I'm going to stand there and I'm going to feel the vibe of the students, of the teachers, I understand what is it my audience wants. How is it that I'm best communicating with my audience? Clarity in the way you talk, being clear, using simple language, being slow and understandable to your audience is very important in communications. Friendliness. When I say friendliness, I don't say you are going to be friends with your students. Being friendliness is being able to be approachable. Are you a happy person? Are you somebody who is accepting the fact that yes, come up to me and talk to me. I am here to listen to you. Do you have sympathy? Do you have empathy? Are you open to the thought of engaging your students? Are you going to be using that platform to use it to help your students grow? Are you open to the idea of feedback? Are you open to being respectful of an opinion that is other than what you think, that is different from what you think? It is so important to be respectful of the fact that, yes, I have an opinion, but my students can definitely have an opinion which is very different from what I think. And being respectful, going back and reflective to what you have just said and done is very, very important and crucial in communication. In this time where pandemic has taken over not just your city, your state, your country, but your whole world, all of us are bound to be in this system where we are all stuck inside. We are socially distancing ourselves. This one for the good, but how much of it is it affecting our mental status is something that we need to really think about. Fundamentals of role models, the misplaced reality. It shocks me to understand that today in this world and in this time, how important it is to be socially active and on social media. I'm very, very inactive on social media. And I think that is because I want to keep myself away from negativity. Not a lot of people in my social circle know what I do for a living because I don't think what I'm doing is something that is going to affect them. The people that I'm reaching out to are socially and economically very below power. I want to reach out to those people and say, you have it in you. You can go out there and you can make a difference. And I am there to help you back up. When I joined into the Obama Foundation and I volunteered to say, I want to do this, this was not to make myself feel that I'm going to get the fame, I'm going to get the power, I'm going to get the wealth that I dreamt of, or what I was told was one of the key factors to being successful. I understood, I think, pretty early in life that being successful is a part, all this is a part of being successful, but the actual reason and the meaning of being successful is your ability to receive and give love. And when I was seeing in the last few days, I was just looking at, I am on social media, but I'm not actively on social media with respect to what I do as a profession. And I was seeing how Bollywood stars and their lives and them being sick and them being admitted in the hospital is being flashed on every media house, every media platform, all channels. This person is admitted in the hospital. This is where he went. They are contact tracing. Yes, they are important, but we have a misplaced reality here. How important are these so called heroes that we talk about relevant in our back and think and how important it is for us to tell these people, these young minds, these children, these colleagues, that these are not our real heroes. Our real heroes are you guys. You never get a second take to say what you want to say, to impart what you want to do. These are the people who take two takes, 10 takes to come out with a movie which could be a hit or a flop, but they are being called as heroes. They are not our heroes. Our heroes are you. Our heroes are doctors who do not get second takes. They are their frontliners fighting for their lives today. Our heroes are our soldiers who are up there in our borders trying to fight for a country which we are feeling secure in. They are our real heroes. And remember, you do not have to be in politics. You do not have to be in media, or you do not have to be a well-known star to make a difference in a life. To make a difference in a life, you have to be you. Motivate yourself. Let's get up. Let's get out there and see, yes, we are consumed by so many things that are happening, but there is someone out there who can be used, who we can use and help them reach their dreams, make that small difference today. Education is very important, but education is not going to make you, your degree is not going to make you understand the importance of empathy and of sympathy. It's you, I was just reading an interview of one of the CEOs, and he said, yes, your Ivy League college certifications, your grades, your ability to talk 3 different languages or 4 different languages is not going to make you equally important or as important as a person who can understand emotional significance, who can help others, who can involve himself in community services. Are you able to apply yourself in a situation which is needed at this point in time? Are you able to create a profession? Are you able to create that dream? That is what is important. How are we understanding and how do we follow a role model? Like I said, role models are at different phases in our life. We have different people. When I was growing up, I always thought of my father and my mother being extremely passionate about their family. The understanding of a social structure and how we treat our family is so important. And for a child, your first value creators are your family, your parents. As we grow up, our social circle increases. We go on to friends, we go on to teachers. And these teachers help us have a dream. Yes, I want to be this because this teacher teaches so well. And then we go on to understand that what we actually wanted to do and how are we understanding what we have learned and trying to imply it and imbibe it in our understanding and cumulatively following that and putting that in our professional careers and choosing our role models based on that is so important. And like I said, it is not an actor, it is not a movie star, it is not an Instagrammer who is going to be a role model. Our role model are people in real life, have made real differences in people's life. Those are the people I would always look up to, and those are the people who've inspired me. There have been a lot of visionaries in my life. Just give me a moment, please. I would like I would like all of you to listen to this lady who has made an extremely powerful impact in my thinking. And I think very highly of her because
Full screen, ma'am.
is that good?
Yes.
I think very highly of her because of the dignity and grace that she has used to get into the White House. If you ever get a chance to read a book, I think you should read Her Becoming. I think it is such a powerful book. At some point, you will feel that connect with this lady. The grace and the dignity that she got to the White House is extremely powerful, extremely motivating. And if you can ever do justice to what you're doing today, it is these kind of people that is going to help us move forward in life. This is a small clip that I thought was very powerful. I'm going to play it for you all. Is this audible?
No.
No, ma'am.
This is my very
Yes,
last
ma'am?
commencement address as First Lady of the United States. This is it.
Are we audible?
You should never view your challenges as a disadvantage. Instead, it's important for you to understand that your experience facing and overcoming adversity is actually one of your biggest advantages. And I know that because I've seen it myself, not just as a student working my way through school, but years later when before I came to the White House and I worked as a dean at a college. In that role, I encountered students who had every advantage. Their parents paid their full tuition, they lived in beautiful campus dorms, they had every material possession a college kid could want, cars, computers, spending money. But when some of them got their first bad grade, they just fell apart. They lost it because they were ill-equipped to handle their first encounter with disappointment or falling short. Life will put many obstacles in your path that are far worse than a bad grade. You'll have unreasonable bosses and difficult clients and patients. You'll experience illnesses and losses, crises and setbacks that will come out of nowhere and knock you off your feet. But unlike so many other young people, you have already developed the resilience and the maturity that you need to pick yourself up and dust yourself off and keep moving through the pain. Keep moving forward. You have developed that muscle. And please, please always do your part to help others do the same.
So she is one of the persons who I extremely value, and I think whose ideas and ideologies have impacted a lot of young minds and young women across the world. Her visionaries, just like her, there are a lot of other visionaries who I think and strongly believe can make an impact in all of our lives, most of us. These are the few people I think have been extremely instrumental in the way I think, the way I have started looking at life, the way I've started looking at problems. And one, Mr. Abdul Kalam, has been instrumental with his simplicity and with his striving nature of being always seeking knowledge and always understanding the power of creativity and reaching out to students, reaching out to people, and understanding that how important it is to being educated and how important it is to being able to use that education to better your society. He said that the best brains of the nations may be found in the last benches of the classroom. How true is that? Because not always is that person who is getting the best of grades is your best of the people who's going to reach out there and make that difference or make that difference in someone's life. Michelle Obama said, success is the only meaning of success. The success is only meaningful when it feels like your own. And that is so important and so true to understand. Like you say, like I said, when I go out there, when I give presentations, when I have young people coming up to me and said, we love the way you spoke today. We wish we can go up on stage and face the audience of 100,000 or 10,000 or 1,000 or 100 people. I can still speak with the same confidence that you were able to deliver today, with that confidence that you want to reach out to people and make it feel that their success is your success is extremely gratifying. And I want to thank each of you for waking up every day with that willpower and wish that today I'm going to get up and I am going to make that difference in everyone's life, whoever I'm going to meet. Mrs. Sudha Murthy, extremely simple. She is an absolute example of how when you are having that power, when you have the wealth, when you have the fame, how do you use it for the betterment of the society? How do you give back? In this time of effort that we need to put in as a society as a whole, this is when these are the learnings that is going to come very useful and handy to us. Let us all stand up and say, yes, we are going to stand up today. We are going to make that difference. We are consumed by a lot of negative thoughts that is going on around us. Every day my husband comes back home, he tells me, today there was this patient who was going under a respiratory attack or respiratory distress. And we sit back and we think, how is it that we as a family can fight the situation, can fight this effort? Yes, there are a lot of things that is happening, but how is it that we can still get up every morning and say, I want to go and do it. I want to go and help people. This is my opportunity to do it. This is your chance to prove to yourself, to nobody else, to go out there and make that difference. Mr. Jiddu Krishnamurti, extremely philosophical person, has written great books. The ability to observe without evaluating is the highest form of intelligence. We are growing up, or we have grown up in a society which has been extremely judgmental a lot of times. We have a stigma in our society with mental health, with mental issues. We do not try to understand the argument that is being posed to us. We are always busy replying to an argument that has been posed instead of listening to what's being told to us. The ability to sit back and observe, why is this happening? Why is this person talking or behaving in a way that he or she is doing, is the highest form of understanding and being able to reciprocate in that form. Leadership, like ma'am just mentioned when we started, that it is not about leading from the front, but being behind and seeing how it is that your followers or your team is moving forward. And when there is a need, you step it up. Leadership is not about what you say is to be done, but it is you show how it needs to be done. And always when you're a leader is not necessarily somebody who's higher up in the hierarchy, not necessarily your bosses. You are your leader. Act with urgency with whatever is the situation that we are faced with. Today, in the situation of a pandemic, we do not have time to sit back and say, let me say, is it something that we want to do it right now? Is it something that can wait for a week, for a month? No, it is the time now. The time to act is now. So remember that the act of urgency to reach out to people the most that we can at the best possible way in the most reliable form of information. The information that you give, there is so much information that is floating around that we need to understand that the information that we give has to be equally reliable and understandable by the people that we want to give it to. And like I said, at every profession, at every aspect in life, communication is extremely important. The choice of words, the voice that you're using, the kind of emotions that you're trying to emulate is so important in the communication as a leader that you're giving out to your subordinates, to your audience, to your people, to your family. Any shortcoming that we are going to face, you have to face it with utmost confidence, and being flexible at every aspect of this leadership is very important. Yes, we want to reach to a certain point at a certain time, but how flexible are we in the way we want to reach out is absolutely important at this time. And remember, in all this and more, being human, being understanding that every person makes mistakes, and it is possible to look beyond those mistakes. There is this person who wants to change. There is this person that you want to be. There is this person that you are trying to encourage and motivate. Let us all help each other in doing that. As I said, this pandemic has been very, very challenging. Every thought that we think needs to have an action that needs to be backed to create an impact that we want to create. So remember that this pandemic is an opportunity and it's not a loss. This opportunity is something that we need to capitalize on. And how are we going to capitalize on this opportunity? When this pandemic was coming in, or much before it came in, I was like you already know, I'm into real estate investment. I manage portfolios for real estate management and building portfolios for professionals. I'm into real estate, which is commercial and residential, both in the United States and in India. But this was the opportunity where I thought it is not about investment. It is not about money. Yes, it is a part of my life, but how am I going to use this chance to reach out to people? I had a company from India reach out to me, and they were making face shields and face masks. They said, is there a way that we can reach out to people? And I thought to myself, oh yes, this is the time that I can step it up. And how am I going to do it? I sent out emails to the local schools and colleges, and I said, I'm going to provide you with face shield and face mask at cost. And whatever cost that I'm cutting out, whatever cost I'm making out of it, I'm going to help young students and young children from economically backward class in the society, help them buy or access to knowledge and information, buy them Chromebooks, buy them laptops, get them access to internet. This was my opportunity and I didn't want to lose on it. Yes, I could have waited. Did I want to wait? No. Why did I not want to wait? Because these things can pass and our lives might not be much affected, but there are a lot of people whose lives have been highly affected and impacted. What is your chance of making that small change? Remember that every school, every individual, every mind is different. One thought or one expression doesn't fit everybody. It doesn't work with everybody. Even what you teach, whatever you teach in your class might not be applicable if it has to be taught in a different class for a different audience. You know how you want to teach your class. You know how you want to engage your class. You know what is the kind of information you want to give your students. Adaptation to the kind of situation that we are in right now. With this pandemic coming in, our family itself has changed the way we live, we behave, we talk, we interact. And being a frontliner, I feel as important as it is to understand that, yes, we are providing help, we are providing service to these patients who are coming in. We have a social responsibility and an obligation to understand that we could be asymptomatic carriers. We need to understand that we probably have already had the infection. I do not want my children to go out there and be asymptomatic carriers and give that infection out to other children. So we stopped from going to schools. I stopped my children from going to school. I said, we will sit at home and we will do our studies. We will try doing whatever we can in the best possible way. That is how we adapted to the situation. But always remember to be aware of what is happening around you. What are the statistics? How is it that we can use this information platform to provide and give out information to people who really need it? Higher education is taking a huge turn. Yes, it is important. Like I said, it is staggering that is 40% of the people do not have access to information. In Boston is a city in Massachusetts, United States, the city council decided to give out 20,000 laptops to socially backward students. The GDP of United States is very different to the GDP of India. The income category, the income criteria is very different to that of India. It is highly impossible to match these two countries. But having said that, how are we going to build that gap? Is everybody going to be able to reach and get access to information the way the other, the lucky ones, the few empowered ones are actually going to be able to? No, it is not. How are we going to use this opportunity to build that gap, to bridge that gap? Apparently in China, what they're using television because television is more easily accessible more than internet to a lot of people. So they're using television to reach out to young children, to reach out to adults, to broadcast information and study materials to people. There are different ways that we as educationalists, we as providers can help bridge that gap. And how is it that we are going to empower and how is it that we are going to bridge the gap is what is the most crucial thing. In all of this that we are doing today, it is very important that you as an individual, me as an individual, we as a team are going to equip ourselves for this pandemic. Remember the power of hope. Always remember that everything that happens will have something brighter that is coming. There is always a light at the end of the tunnel. The power of hope is always going to keep you going. Remember, be hopeful that yes, one day we're going to come out of this. We're going to come out of this victorious. I'm going to empower myself give myself that confidence, give myself that lack of things that we have not been able to achieve so far. Let me encourage myself to do something. Work on your strengths, work on your weaknesses, build on your strengths, and improvise and utilize these opportunities to build a better you. Imagine and create. Yes, I can imagine. Yes, I am going to have positive affirmations. I'm going to think I can do it. When you are going to think positive, it is important to understand that these opportunities are going to come to us. And remember, in everything that you do, you try to be your best. It is not possible to be the best at everything, but it is definitely possible to be your best at everything that you do. This slide, I think, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be the most crucial and the most important slide of my presentation today. One, because physical health, as is you, how important are you in this whole scenario? Remember that you as a person is the most important aspect of this whole situation. How are you going to look at the situation? How are you going to come out of it? What is that impact of this pandemic on you, on your physical health, on your mental health, emotional health? These three are important for a fully charged and motivated person. Physical health, the kind of food that we eat, the kind of sleep that we get, the kind of information that we are trying to give ourselves, the kind of emotions that we are surrounded by, all this helps in building a better person, a better personality. But remember that this pandemic has had a huge impact of economic recession. It is possible that this economic recession is actually going to lead into social recession, something that we have not understood, or maybe we have not stressed enough on, is human connection. Why is it so important that we have human connections? Human beings, it was, we were always, while growing up, we were always told a partial truth about how important it is to understand yourself. You are responsible for what you are going to be. But the actual truth is, yes, you're responsible for what you're going to be, but we are all interdependent. We are interdependent on relationships. We are interdependent on the people in our lives. We are interdependent on the relationships that we make. It could be with strangers, it could be with your students, it could be with your family. But remember, human connection is very important. How are we going to do this in this time of pandemic? Give yourself time. Remember, multitasking has been understood and has been told is scientifically proved that it is not possible. You cannot multitask. So when I'm talking to my mother on the phone, yes, mommy, I'm doing okay. I'm in the United States. I want to check on her, but I want to check my emails. I want to see how my investments are going. No, it doesn't work like that. It is important that you are not able to give the quality, then it is not the quantity that matters. Whenever you're doing something, be there, be present, give it your 100%. When you are on a call with your parents, give it your 100%. Listen to them. Listen to what they have to say. Understand what they're trying to get to you. That 5 minutes of connection with your loved ones is going to go a huge way. 15 minutes of your day, give it to your people. Understand them, value relationships. The human connection is a huge one. To conclude, I want to say that we are always learning. Learning has been a part of us. Like I said, you start with the birth, you end at your death, and you realize that you are still learning. Always remember that reading books, getting onto the internet, getting information from people who inspire us, finding the right kind of people who is inspiring us is very important. Feed yourself in with information that is going to lift you up, lift your spirits up, rounding all of us. A touch of innovation, a sense of inculcation, and complete implementation of everything that you have understood and that you want to do is going to get you into a better life and a better world. My father was the first of in his family to get out of that small village in Udupi, and he was the first in his family to get out of there, build his family business, build his business in Bangalore. He wanted to make sure that I got an education, that I could stand up one day and speak for myself. He was very successful in doing that, I would say. I got an education that I'm very proud of. I'm extremely happy that the education that I got made me understand the necessity to reach out there and say, no, it is not competition that is important. It is the amount of effort that I want to put in to make every person that I meet, to make them feel that believe in yourself. You have it in you to go out there and prove yourself. He was the first one to get out of his place. I was the first off in my family to get out of India, come here, start off an investment firm. I'm in my mid 30s, and I would like to believe I have a little more than what I think I have in my age to see and make sure that I can reach out to an audience, to reach out to people, to help to build somebody. Remember that it is you who's going to make that difference, and you can make that difference. My husband was the first off in our community to come to the US, be graduated in one of the best Ivy League colleges, first off in his family to be supporting and caring for patients, all who are right now in absolute desperate need of being saved. These have all been our first offs. These first offs have been an inspiration from our teachers. The teachers could be our parents, our teachers we've met at schools or colleges, or our teachers which have been life lessons. How many first offs are you ready to make? Are you ready to stand up and take up that challenge? Remember, success is not about the money we make, the wealth that we earn, that the fame that we have. Success is about how much love are we able to give and we're able to take, the difference that we make in someone's life. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. It's been an extreme pleasure and an honor to be addressing each of you this morning. Morning for me because I woke up at 3 a.m. this morning just to address you, because I think if even 1% of my talk has been made an impact in any one of you that's listening, it has made my effort this morning fruitful. Like I say, we must become what we wish to teach. Thank you, and I'm now open to questions.
Thank you so much, ma'am. That was definitely a beautiful, beautiful speech.
Thank
Do
you.
we have any question and answers from any of the participants? Ma'am will be answering them. Okay, I don't see any questions, ma'am.
Perfect.
Okay,
I would like to say one other thing that, like I said, I would like to reflect on what I have done and every presentation that I make. And this presentation has been very, very special to me because I have been addressing teachers and students in the United States. And this was my first experience of addressing to the teachers and the audience in India. And I would love to take a feedback and see how I have done in this presentation this morning. And I hope I have lived up to your expectations of what this presentation would be. Thank you so much for listening to me this morning, ladies and gentlemen.
There is a question.
Yes.
Ma'am, there's a question from Pooja, ma'am. How to connect to people who are just thinking of out we are thinking?
Sorry?
I mean, I think she wants to know how to connect to people who's just thinking of out we are thinking. I think she wants to know how do we connect to people who may be in need of us or whatever it is. How do we connect to people basically?
Well, to connect to people, like I already said, that it is important to break barriers. The most important thing is, when you speak about connection, I actually have this incident that just comes into my mind. I don't know if all of you have read or at least seen on television Mr. Sushant Singh Rajput, who just had a very tragic incident where he killed himself. And I felt that there was a loss of connect. The connect, I feel, is when you are able, and I saw a lot of people on social media platform and saying, oh, I'm here to listen to you. You are able to listen to people, yes, but is that person ready or willing to come up to you and speak to you? Have you been open to them all these years? suddenly out of nowhere, is anybody going to come to you and say, this is my problem, help me solve it? You have to build a relationship. You have to try to stop and keep those barriers away and try to be friendlier with people. Try to understand that, yes, it is possible to have shortcomings. It's possible to have weakness. It is possible to have inefficiencies, but can we all stop being judgmental and stigmatizing a few things and try to connect with people from heart and being emotionally confident of understanding people's problems and emotions? That is what I think we need to do.
I think as an addition, she wants to know how do we connect with people who don't think the way we think? I mean, how opposite to what we think. How to connect to such people?
Like I said, it is very important to understand that everybody can be different. Everybody can have a different point of view. It is just that we need to open our minds and thoughts to understanding that what we think is not necessary that what others think. They have a perspective that they are coming from based on their experiences that has happened in their lives. And we are coming and having a perspective of certain things based on our experiences in life. So every connection is based on the experiences that we have had. And we need to understand that, yes, on a humanity basis, we can all connect, but on personal basis, we can all have difference of opinion. It is just that understanding and respecting each other's opinions and being there for each other when they need.
Ma'am, there's a question that I would like to ask.
Yeah.
Ma'am, since you have families both in India and in the US,
Mhm.
how do you think are we dealing as a family differently in India and in the US? What are the situations? How is it different, ma'am?
Well, Akshita, it's funny when I speak to my cousins back in India and they tell me that, Shushma, today I was able to reach out to my parents. Today I was able to talk to them. Today I was able to go meet them. And for me, being here, I'm not able to speak to my parents with the way I would if I was in India in person. Communication is happening on the phone. The kind of struggles that I go through being away from family versus for you to be with your family, I think you are blessed to have that opportunity that when they need you, you're able to go there. I never thought that there would be a situation where I will have to face where my parents need me and I'm not going to be able to go there because all travel has been banned. I cannot go to India. And I'm just hoping that they're going to take care of themselves and I'm going to be here just giving them support. And it becomes so difficult for me to share information with them because I feel that anything that I say is going to affect them and I'm going to hold back information. And I think that way we are not able to be doing full justice to what we're supposed to. We are trying to build that bridge. And I think when you are in India, it's easier when they need you, you can go there and be there for them. As versus me, I'm here, I'm only trying to be with them virtually. That is the biggest difference, I think.
Thank you, ma'am. Ma'am,
There's one.
There's one more question, ma'am, from CNR Ellen. He or she wants to know how to improve our mental health.
Yes. Well, this is a situation which is very tough on all of us, right? It is new. It is something that we have not heard of. And mental health is all about the kind of information that we want to access and how do we want to take in information. There's not a lot of negativity that is coming in, the number of cases going up, the number of death rates that are coming in, how are countries not being able to face. It is important to understand that every country is different. It is important to understand that, yes, our government is doing more than what they can do. What is it that we can do? And how is it that we can adapt to the situation? Let us start reading and getting information about the positives of that is happening. Let us try and understand that, yes, there are going to be a lot of problems. Let us look at the positive side of it. There are so many positive things that is happening. So many people have lost life. Are we in that situation yet? How is it that we can gain access to information? How is it that we can better our health? These are all important to understand and emulate and significantly improve our mental health. Read well, get information that is important, and surround yourself with positive people and speak positive things. I don't want to sound philosophical, but this is the way to go forward.
I agree, ma'am. I think I think we have one more question from Dr. Mosham Ghosh. No, he just wants to thank Mrs. Sushma for the interactive session. Okay, ma'am.
Thank you, sir.
Uh,
Thank you so much.
I, on behalf of the Internal Quality Assurance Cell, the Oxford College of Science, would like to thank Mrs. Sushma Shetty. Ma'am, your talk today was truly inspirational, especially in the present pandemic situation where emotional and psychological health is more important. We, as teachers, need to inspire, support, and lead our students into the right path. Like the statistics showed, a large percentage of the students are influenced by us, and hence it is very important to be careful about the way we carry ourselves as they are looking up to you. Let us all be better role models. I quote John Quincy Adams here: if your actions inspire others to dream more, learn more, do more, and become more, you are a leader. I unquote. Thank you, ma'am, for this wonderful session. We are all so proud of you, of how you and your family are contributing in your own small way to this pandemic. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate, and I want to take this opportunity to thank Mrs. Gayatri Sudhir for giving me this opportunity. The minute she said, Sushma, do you want to do this? I wholeheartedly said yes, because she has also been very truly inspirational in my life. She has been a true example of how a teacher can be a great friend. Thank you, ma'am. I sincerely appreciate it.
Thank you, Sushma.